Hello, RowanFortuneWood. Let me start from the beginning. As the beginning as I can recall it now, but not the beginning. So obviously the beginning was previous to me noticing I had subscribed to you. I had subscribed to you at some previous time, which I'm no longer aware of. Perhaps I did it in response to a friendly acquaintance who requested it. Perhaps I discovered one of your philosophy videos, which I sometimes watch on YouTube here. In any event, I had lost the recollection of doing so. And so when I saw my inbox flooded with a whole bunch of videos, I would say at that point I was already a little bit ill-disposed towards whoever had brought about that circumstance. And so I noticed on your video list Islam. And Islam is an issue that I take some interest in, but on a purely amateur level. So, with that behind me, I proceeded to watch your video. Not once, but twice. One of your subscribers or acquaintances suggested that perhaps I just hadn't listened to you carefully, and that's why I misunderstood you. And that may be the case. I have my human limits, but I did watch it twice to be sure that I understood, or that my misunderstanding was not without merit. And I would say that you speculated about what might have derailed the event of our exchange, and I would suggest that if YouTube had not changed format, it would not have taken place for this reason. Previously, I've disagreed with some people on the internet, but then one thing I did before the exchange became heated was I would check their channel, take a look, especially interested in who they were friended to, who they subscribed to, and who had recently commented on their videos. Sometimes that's very informative to know who's connected to who on the various networks of friends and acquaintances on YouTube. So I was reminded that that would be something that I ought to take into consideration when this was a Triumph commented on your video. You know, I'd always liked a lot of his videos. He's not as active as he has been, but I definitely have enjoyed some of his videos. So I thought, yeah, who's this guy connected to? And why should I? And then I, again, second thinking myself, why should I care? Previously, though, I have cared that I would check out before the exchange got beyond a certain point and just recalled, oh yeah, that person's connected with this person whose relationship is important to me, and this person whose relationship is important to me. And that sort of took the edge off my interest in engaging them in any sort of thing approaching a combative mode of exchange. So seeing this was a Triumph on your comics section was a reminder of that I didn't know who this person was connected to, and that's due to the change in format. So previously, if you have been away for a while, maybe you're still accustomed to that format where you could go to someone's channel and you would see basically who they were connected to on the YouTube channel. And sometimes that informs your actions, and that's an interesting phenomenon in itself. But if you've taken a closer look, I would appreciate that. Okay, the second point. I got past the first point in why I reacted to your video. And I would accept that criticism, that I reacted. In that I didn't proceed from a rational, this ought to be done point of view. I proceeded from a gut point of view. And I think that can be something that one should watch for, and yet I don't know how we can. I think we really take the shit out of life if we avoid that entirely. You know, if we don't sometimes go with our zen and go with our gut to follow through with an action. Sometimes if it feels right, I guess, and it's as dangerous as that sounds, if you end up doing things that feel right and then later you realize how wrong you were. But in any event, that's pretty much how I proceeded, and I just expressed how I felt at watching that video you did on Islam. And how I felt was, he's only portraying imbeciles, and some of it was obviously quite bigoted, and I've commented on that before in another way, in another context, and we could get into the moral implications of my motives in that instance, but I'm sure no one cares. But I guess I reacted, and I thought, well, isn't that unfortunate that he only portrays, you don't really state who you're portraying, I think, and that's why it's problematic. And that's why I made the I don't even want to bring this into it, I don't want to even bring this up, but that's why I made the TF comparison. That's about as far as I want to go into that, because it gets very complicated, and it gets very political too. It goes back to clicks. We're not as aware now with the new format in YouTube of who's in whose clips, who knows who, and I think that, I wonder if I'm alone in that when I see someone make a comment that I find disagreeable, and do you, I'm asking this to the general viewers, do you go and check their page and say, well, I better see who they're allied with? It's something I find roughly disagreeable, but other people in my social group might find it agreeable. I guess it's those particular issues. Anyways, to wrap up, I kind of enjoyed the exchange, and in the end I do think you're a very bright young man, and I think it would be nice to have you back on YouTube as a regular contributor. So, anyways, as we say in the chat, welcome back.